kecil. Pada kesempatan kali ini, kami akan membahas mengenai PI Sejarah Indonesia dengan tema kebijakan politik luar negeri Indonesia masa demokrasi terpimpin, dengan pertanyaan pemantik yaitu apakah politik luar negeri Presiden Soekarno lebih cenderung dekat dengan negara-negara komunis pada masa demokrasi terpimpin.
Etymologically, democracy comes from the Greek Demokrasia, consisting of demos, meaning people, and kratos, meaning government. At the beginning of independence, Indonesia established a democratic government system called the parliamentary democracy. At the time, the government did not run smoothly due to many separatist movements during the liberal democracy era, causing instability in the country, which had an impact on the security aspect. The economic aspect, where at the time economic development was hampered because the cabinet often changed work programs, and also the political aspect, where the Constituent Assembly failed to formulate a new constitution to replace the provisional constitution of 1950. On July 5, 1950, President Soekarno issued a decision called the Presidential Decree, where Indonesia implemented a new democratic system during President Soekarno's reign, called the Guided Democracy, or also known as the Old-Older period.
Guided democracy was seen as an attempt to find a way out of political gridlock through the formation of strong leadership and was successfully implemented from 1959 to 1965. In practice, the meaning of the word guided in the guided democracy is different from that in the 1945 Constitution, where based on the 1945 Constitution mean people led by wisdom in deliberation or representation. That's meaning in the people consultative assembly. However, by President Soekarno, the definition of guided was interpreted as being led absolutely by the individual, where the nature of the foreign policy carried out that time was considered to have deviated greatly from the constitution and was leaning toward the communist bloc.
One of the biggest impacts of political activity during this period was the rapid development of the Indonesian Communist Party. This was due to the creation of masa in 1956 by Soekarno. His idea meant that there were three main pillars of the system: nationalism, religion, and communism. PKI was considered important for Indonesia's development by the president, so they were placed as a legitimate part of the Indonesian political constellation, both domestically and abroad. With that, the Communist Party tried to insert its members in all the institutional fields that had none. Their efforts were successful with the seating of communists in the cabinet. During the period of the guided democracy, the strong position and closeness of the Communist Party to Soekarno influenced the direction of Indonesians' foreign policy, so that it did not show neutrality. President Soekarno tended to bring Indonesian foreign policies to the Eastern Bloc, a bloc of communist countries.
At that time, there was a confrontation between OLIVO, which consists of Western countries, and NEVO, which consists of non-aligned and communist countries, with Indonesia in the leading position of NEVO. As a result of PKI's persuasion, Indonesia interfered in Malaysia's domestic problems, causing Indonesia to leave the United Nations. Indonesia also became isolated from the world. After officially leaving the UN, Indonesia began to openly establish relations with communist countries. Indonesia tried to create a rival force to the UN by holding the NEVO as the substitute for the Olympics, having mostly communist countries as participants. Indonesia also implemented the lighthouse politics to support NEVO through the construction of large projects, costing a lot of money. The project was intended to place Indonesia in a prominent position among the NEVO countries. The government tried to cover the large amount of spending by printing lots of money, resulting in uncontrolled inflation and the decline of the economy.
During the guided democracy era, Indonesia's foreign policy leaned more to the communist countries. Guided democracy, which was seen as an attempt to overcome political gridlock with strong leadership, was interpreted by President Soekarno as his personal leadership. The cause of foreign policy leaning more to communism was the rapid growth of the Indonesian Communist Party and its influence within the country. PKI became an important part of the Indonesian political constellation because the concept of nasakom, nationalism, religion, and communism was introduced by Soekarno. PKI's closeness to Soekarno influenced Indonesia's foreign policy, showing non-neutrality, caused Indonesia to be involved in Malaysia's domestic problems, and caused Indonesia to be isolated from world relations, which led to relations with communist countries. In addition, lighthouse politics and large projects undertaken to increase international prestige resulted in inflation problems and an increasing declining economy.
Sekian informasi yang kami sampaikan, kami ucapkan terima kasih dan bye-bye.
Bye-bye!
Oke, lanjut.